Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to go right? As if an invisible force is blocking your opportunities and holding back your progress? Believe it or not, certain objects, habits, and even thoughts might be draining your energy and keeping abundance away without you even realizing it. Science and spirituality agree. Everything around us carries energy. If that energy is blocked, your life will also feel stuck. But here's the good news. There's a quick and powerful way to reverse this. And I'm going to show you exactly what you need to eliminate to unlock your prosperity. Before we continue, comment now. I am ready to release abundance. If you want to free up your energy and open the way for new opportunities. Now pay close attention because what you're about to discover could change your life forever. And most people have never heard of this before. If what I show you today helps you see your life differently, you can give back in a very simple way by clicking like and subscribing to the channel. Not only does this help me keep bringing you transformative content, but it also sends a clear signal to the universe that you are ready to receive good things. And there's more. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Sometimes a simple click can be the first step to changing someone's life. Now, before I reveal the 5 invisible blocks that might be keeping prosperity away, I need you to do one thing. Take a deep breath and visualize what your life would be like if everything flowed smoothly, with no obstacles, no limitations. If you can feel that possibility, it means you're ready for the next step. Let's begin. Everything around us is energy. Our thoughts, our emotions, the words we use, even the objects in our home carry a vibration that can either push us forward or hold us back. Have you ever noticed how certain places feel heavy, as if they're sucking your energy? Or how some people leave you exhausted after a conversation? That happens because we are constantly exchanging vibrations with everything and everyone around us. And here's something most people don't realize. Some objects accumulate stagnant energy and act as invisible anchors in your life. They tie you to the past, reinforce scarcity patterns, and prevent new opportunities from coming your way. When I discovered this, everything changed. I started getting rid of things that carried bad memories, and suddenly, doors began to open. Unexpected invitations, money coming in from sources I never imagined, relationships that felt stuck started to flow. It was as if I had cleared an invisible space within me and around me. This isn't superstition, it's science. Psychology has already proven that our brain deeply processes symbols and associations. Holding on to objects linked to difficult moments or people who are no longer part of your life keeps you emotionally tied to that energy. Now think, which objects in your home still carry memories of moments you'd rather forget? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 main energetic blocks you might be holding on to without realizing it. And once you get rid of them, you'll feel immediate relief, as if a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. 1. Clothes you no longer wear. If you open your closet and see clothes you haven't worn in years, know that they might be holding on to old versions of yourself, versions that no longer make sense in your current life. The clothes you wear represent your identity. When you keep clothes that no longer reflect who you are or who you want to become, you're unconsciously signaling that you're still stuck in the past. Think about it. Do you have clothes that remind you of difficult times? Pieces you used to wear at a job you hated? Something that belonged to a relationship that's over? Every single one of those items carries emotional baggage that might be blocking new experiences. I remember someone who kept at the back of his closet the suit he wore on the day of his divorce. He said he would never wear it again, but he just couldn't let it go. When he finally had the courage to donate it, something interesting happened. A week later, he met someone special and started a new relationship. That wasn't a coincidence. He eliminated an emotional anchor that was keeping him tied to the past and made space for something new. Now, do a quick test. Go to your closet and choose 3 pieces of clothing you no longer wear. Hold them and ask yourself, does this piece represent the life I want to have? If the answer is no, thank it for its time in your life and let it go with gratitude. Donate it to someone who might need it. By doing this, you're telling the universe that you're ready to receive the new. Comment here. Do you have any clothes you need to let go of? Now, let's move on to the second energy block. 2. Broken or unused objects. Every broken or abandoned object in your home represents something that isn't working in your life. It could be a stopped clock, a chair with a loose leg, or a phone with a cracked screen that you insist on keeping. What do all these things have in common? They symbolize things that aren't flowing. Do you remember trying to fix something that had sentimental value, but no matter how hard you tried, it was never quite the same? That happens because that object holds a memory that, even unconsciously, keeps you attached to a specific moment in time. I once met a woman who kept a cracked mirror that had belonged to her grandmother. To her, it was a keepsake, but interestingly, her life was filled with cracked relationships and missed opportunities. The day she decided to let go of the mirror, a client who had disappeared for months suddenly reached out with a major business proposal. If something is broken and you can't or don't want to fix it, get rid of it. Don't let the energy of something that no longer works continue to take up space in your life. Now, take a look around you. Do you have any broken objects you've been putting off throwing away? The next item may be right on your feet at this very moment, and you may not even realize the impact it's having. 3. Dirty or worn-out shoes. The path you walk in life is directly connected to the shoes you wear, and if they are worn out, dirty, or in poor condition, they may be blocking your journey. Shoes absorb the energy of the places you walk through. Have you ever noticed how, after a tiring day or a bad experience, your feet feel heavier? That happens because shoes carry all that accumulated vibration. In Eastern cultures, there is a simple but powerful ritual. Before entering the house, people always clean or change their shoes. This symbolizes leaving behind any negative energy acquired throughout the day. And it doesn't stop there. Keeping shoes that no longer fit, that are torn or extremely worn out, can represent financial struggles and continuous challenges on your path. I once met a businessman who always complained that his company wasn't growing. One day, someone suggested he take a look at the shoes he wore every day. He realized he was clinging to an old, worn-out pair because they were comfortable. When he finally decided to buy new ones and get rid of the old ones, His professional life started improving. Want to test this for yourself? Grab a pair of shoes that are old or overly worn out, clean them thoroughly, or replace them. Then observe how your energy shifts. If this tip opened your mind, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Now, let's talk about something even deeper. Objects that once belonged to people who have passed away. 4. Objects of loved ones who have passed away. This may be the hardest part for many people. Keeping objects from loved ones who have passed is an understandable gesture. But are you keeping them out of love or attachment to the past? It's important to honor the memory of those we love, but holding on to too many objects can hinder your own growth. Without realizing it, you might be holding on to pain, grief, or emotional burdens that should have already been released. I met a man who kept all of his late father's clothes. He always said he would donate them one day, but he never could. Until in a moment of deep reflection, he realized that he wasn't moving forward in his own life because he was stuck in the absence of his father. When he finally donated the clothes to a charity, he felt a sense of peace he hadn't experienced in years. This doesn't mean you need to get rid of everything, but choose one meaningful item to keep and release the rest with gratitude. Remember, love and memories don't live in objects. They live within you. If this resonated with you, comment below. Do you have something from a loved one who has passed away? How do you feel about it? Now let's move on to the final energy block, the one that may be present in every corner of your home. 5. Clutter and mess. If your home is cluttered, so is your mind. The mess around you reflects internal confusion that may be blocking the flow of your life. Accumulated objects, overstuffed drawers filled with unused items, scattered papers, all of this takes up energetic space and makes it harder for new opportunities to enter your life. In Japanese culture, there is a concept called ma, which means the power of empty space. This space is essential for new opportunities, new ideas, and even new relationships to enter your life. I challenge you to try this. For 1 week, choose one room per day to organize. Get rid of what no longer serves you. Then, observe the changes in your mood, your energy, and even the opportunities that start to appear. If you accept this challenge, comment "I accept" below. Now that you know the 5 invisible blocks that might be preventing your prosperity, let's talk about how you can go even deeper into this transformation. If this content resonated with you, I have a small request. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Also, tell me in the comments, which of these 5 things will you eliminate first? I'd love to hear about your experience with this change and follow your progress. 6. Gifts from people you've cut. Ties with. Have you ever stopped to think about the power objects have over us? How something seemingly harmless can carry such strong emotional energy that, without realizing it, it keeps us stuck in the past. Now imagine this. You're reorganizing your home, and at the back of a drawer, you find a gift from an ex-partner, a friend who drifted away, or even a job that made you miserable. You hold the object in your hands and, for a brief moment, feel nostalgia. But along with that memory, you also sense a strange heaviness, a sadness, or a tightness in your chest. This is not a coincidence. Our brain works through associations. Every object around us is an emotional trigger that activates memories, feelings, and even behavior patterns. This means that if you keep gifts from relationships that are no longer part of your life, you are, even unconsciously, holding on to that energy inside you. So let me ask you, why are you still keeping it? Maybe you think, oh, but it was a nice gift. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I don't want to throw it away because it was an important moment. But the truth is, it's not about the object itself. It's about the energy it carries. The science behind attachment to objects. Studies in psychology show that objects can act as emotional anchors. Simply seeing something that belonged to someone can activate the same neural circuits that were engaged when that person was part of your life. This means that even if the relationship ended, your brain may still be reliving the emotions tied to it every day. Now, think with me. If that relationship was toxic, painful, or simply no longer aligns with your life, why keep that energetic bond inside your home? Here's something no one tells you. Holding on to these objects may be blocking the arrival of new people, new opportunities, and fresh energy in your life. I've seen incredible cases of people who were emotionally stuck and only realized why after freeing themselves from these invisible ties. One woman told me that she still kept a ring from an ex-boyfriend. She said it was just a pretty accessory, but interestingly, her love life was completely blocked. No new relationship ever seemed to work out. One day, after learning about the power of objects in personal energy, she decided to get rid of the ring. 3 weeks later, she met someone special. Another powerful example was a businessman who, even after changing jobs years ago, still kept a pen from an abusive boss who made him feel small. He wasn't aware of it, but every time he looked at that pen, it triggered memories of insecurity and feeling undervalued. The day he threw it away, he felt an instant sense of relief, and a few months later, he received an offer for the position he had always dreamed of. This wasn't magic. It was energy release. The farewell ritual, how to let go of objects that keep you stuck in the past. Now, I want you to do a simple but powerful exercise. Go to your drawer, closet, or any place where you keep memories of the past. Find that gift or object that still holds the energy of a relationship that is no longer part of your life. Hold the object in your hands and ask yourself 3 questions. Does this object bring me positive or negative feelings? Does it remind me of who I was, or does it push me toward who I want to become? If I let go of it, will my life change for the better? If the answer is anything other than a clear and absolute yes, then you already know what you need to do. But be mindful. Don't get rid of these objects out of anger or resentment. Instead, thank them for everything that experience brought into your life, whether it was lessons, growth, or personal development. Express gratitude and release. If it's a gift, donate it to someone who can use it with fresh energy. If it's something deeply personal, burn it, discard it, or transform it into something new. The important thing is that this object no longer carries stagnant energy. Your next step, let go to receive. Now, I want to know from you, what object from your past are you still holding on to, but feel like you should release? Write in the comments, "I choose to release the past," and share your experience. And if this topic resonated with you, don't keep this information to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now, let's talk about another invisible block that may be draining your energy without you even realizing it. 7. Stacks of accumulated papers. Now, I want you to visualize a scenario. You're sitting at your desk or in a corner of your house. Around you, there are stacks of papers, old bills, scattered notes, receipts you haven't looked at in ages, contracts for things that are no longer even part of your life. They might be organized in boxes, stuffed in drawers, or simply piled up without order. Now, imagine that each of these papers carries an invisible weight. Each sheet represents a delayed decision, a past worry, or a responsibility that, even if resolved, still takes up space in your energetic field. What most people don't realize is that paper clutter isn't just a matter of organization. It's a direct reflection of your mental and emotional state. What your brain thinks when it sees a pile of papers. The human mind subconsciously processes its environment. When you see a pile of disorganized papers, your brain receives a signal of overload. It interprets it as unfinished tasks, unresolved problems, and decisions waiting to be made. Now, think about how this affects your energy every day. Even if you haven't touched those papers in months, your subconscious mind is still registering the mess as something that needs to be dealt with. And this may be draining your energy without you realizing it. In Feng Shui, it is believed that piles of purposeless papers represent blockages in financial and professional life. This is because the wood element, which is associated with growth and prosperity, becomes overburdened when there is an excess of unused paper. And if you feel like your financial life is stagnant, this disorder could be directly affecting how money flows to you. Now, answer honestly. Have you ever felt like your mind was cluttered, but you didn't know exactly why? It could be that the answer is all around you, piled up in stacks of useless papers. The link between paper and stagnant energy. The most surprising thing is that not all the papers we accumulate have real value, but our brain tricks us into thinking they do. This is known as the endowment effect, a psychological phenomenon where we overvalue things simply because we own them. In other words, even if that mountain of papers is useless, you may feel the need to keep them just in case. But the truth is that 99% of these papers will never be used again. Even worse, many of them hold negative memories, old bills that have already been paid but still remind you of financial struggles, notes from courses or classes you never completed, triggering feelings of frustration, contracts, fines, or documents that bring back unpleasant past experiences. Now think, why keep things that only pull you backward? Now that you understand the impact of papers on your energy, I want to challenge you to a simple yet powerful exercise. Set aside 15 minutes to face that pile. Gather all your accumulated papers and start sorting them. Create 3 categories. Urgent, something truly necessary like essential documents. Important, papers you might need but can be organized digitally. Disposable, everything that no longer serves a purpose and is just taking up space. Digitize what you need and get rid of the rest. Nowadays, almost everything can be stored digitally. You no longer need old receipts or bills paid years ago. Take a picture, store it in a secure drive, and free yourself from the physical burden. Perform a release ritual. If there are papers that carry bad memories, like paid-off debts or contracts from toxic jobs, don't just throw them away. Burn them, tear them up, or discard them with the intention of closing that chapter for good. And here's something powerful. By eliminating unnecessary papers, you send a clear signal to the universe that you're ready to receive new things. I've seen people who, after organizing their documents and getting rid of useless papers, received unexpected job offers or an unforeseen increase in income. Now, I want you to reflect. When was the last time you organized your papers and documents? If your answer is a long time ago or never, this could be the invisible block holding back your prosperity. Comment here. I choose to organize my life and make room for the new. And if this topic resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now let's talk about one final invisible block, one of the most powerful and emotional of them all. 8. Objects related to failures and setbacks, the invisible weight, keeping you stuck in the past. Now, take a moment and look around you. Does anything in your environment remind you of a mistake, a failure, or a difficult time in your life? Maybe it's a diploma from a course you never finished, a notebook filled with plans that didn't work out, a nameplate from a job you hated, or even that expensive equipment you bought but never used because you gave up on a project halfway through. These objects may seem harmless, but in reality, they are constant reminders of something that didn't work out. They are invisible anchors that make your mind return, day after day, to a version of yourself that should have been left behind. And here's the most important part. If you continue to surround yourself with things that symbolize failure, your subconscious mind will keep believing that failure is part of your identity. The psychology behind holding on to failure. Our brain has a mechanism called the negativity bias, which makes us focus more on our failures than our achievements. This happens because, from an evolutionary perspective, we were programmed to remember dangers and mistakes as a survival strategy. That's why, if you keep objects around that represent your past failures, your mind will continue reinforcing the belief that you're not good enough, that you've failed, and that you might fail again. Now think about this. How can your life move forward if every glance around your space reminds you of a past you're trying to overcome? The real impact of letting go of these objects. Let me tell you a real story. A man kept hidden in the back of his closet the key to his first business, a company that had gone bankrupt years ago. To him, that key was a symbol of learning, but deep down, every time he saw it, he felt a knot in his stomach. It represented not only the dream that failed, but also the debts, stress, and sleepless nights that came with it. One day, he decided to throw that key away. And guess what? Shortly after, he came up with a new business idea, and this time, he did everything differently. Today, he runs a successful company. That wasn't a coincidence. It was an energetic release. The same thing happened with a woman who kept study materials from a competitive exam she had failed. She said she wanted to use them to study in the future. But deep down, those materials only reinforced her sense of failure. The day she threw everything away was the day she started studying with a fresh mindset. And months later, she passed the exam. Practical exercise: how to identify objects that are draining your energy. Now, I want you to do a simple but powerful exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down everything in your home that reminds you of failure or something that didn't work out. It could be an unfinished project, a book you never finished because you felt incapable, or a piece of clothing from a difficult period in your life. Pick up those objects and hold them in your hands. Ask yourself, does this object push me forward or hold me back? If the answer is that it holds you back, do something about it. If it's a paper or old notes, burn or tear them up. If it's a valuable object, donate it to someone who can use it with fresh energy. If it's something that can be transformed, give it a new meaning. This simple act may seem small, but it will have a profound impact on your mindset. When you remove symbols of past failures from your life, your brain stops reinforcing the idea of failure. Instead, it starts looking for new ways to move forward. The final step: let go to make room for the new. Now, I want you to write in the comments, I choose to release the past and make space for new achievements. And if this content resonated with you, don't keep this transformation to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Throughout this video, you've learned that certain objects are not just things stored in a corner of your house. They carry stories, emotions, and energies that may be holding your life back without you realizing it. Recap: the 8 invisible blocks that could be preventing your prosperity. 1. Clothes you no longer wear, which symbolize old versions of yourself and keep your energy tied to the past. 2. Broken objects, which represent things that no longer work in your life and block the flow of abundance. 3. Dirty or worn-out shoes, which absorb energy from the places you walk and may be contaminating your path. 4. Items from loved ones who have passed away, which may be keeping you stuck in painful memories instead of allowing your life to move forward. 5. Clutter and mess, which reflect a confused mind and prevent new opportunities from entering your life. 6. Gifts from people you've cut ties with, which still carry the energy of relationships that should have ended. 7. Piles of accumulated papers which symbolize unfinished decisions, unresolved problems, and financial blocks. 8 objects related to failures and setbacks, which reinforce the idea that you're not capable of moving forward and may be sabotaging your mindset. Now that you're aware of these blocks, ask yourself, what is still taking up space in my life unnecessarily? What can I eliminate today to unblock my energy? Final challenge. Choose one of these 8 types of blocks and remove at least one object right now. It could be an old piece of clothing, a useless piece of paper, or a gift that carries bad memories. Do this and observe how your energy shifts. Now, comment below. Which of these blocks did you identify in your life? Which one will you eliminate first? I'd love to hear your response and follow your progress. And if this video helped you, return the energy. Like the video so this message reaches more people. Subscribe to the channel. so you don't miss transformative content like this. Share it with someone who needs to release the past and unlock prosperity. Remember, when you let go of what no longer serves you, you create space for new and wonderful things to enter your life.